The version you are at home is the real you. I mean, I remember I was in my room for about a few summers ago. I was in my room for practically the whole summer, and I did not like it. But one thing it taught me is I can't escape who I am. It will naturally come out. I mean, the more you're consistent at something, the more your actual true feelings show up. I mean, for doing YouTube about half a year now, I've noticed that the version you try to hide is the version that's gonna eventually come out. I mean, and I honestly think your life will become 10 times better if you were to stop being afraid to show yourself and step into the person you really are. The person you try to hide, the person that you want nobody to notice, the things you like, the things you don't like, the reading, the writing, and everything you're trying to hide from people. Maybe that's the version that actually needs to exist so that you can hit your peak version, your peak spiritual self, or whatever you want to call it. I've had this experience because I recently I've low-key kind of slowed down on social media, and I stopped, going on social media because I compared myself. I compared my life to others. I looked at what others were doing, and I looked at my age, and I said, okay, I should be doing what they're doing at their age. And I realized I have to stop, be still. And I started changing myself, right, to adapt to their, resources or whatever they had. And I realized the life I want will come out when I stop and trying to stay in a bubble. Because life doesn't start when you're in your bubble. Life starts when you pop it. And that's the scary part. Is when you're popping your bubble, nobody tells you that it can be the most scariest thing, but when you go out and do something, you have the most greatest experience. I mean, I remember I was climbing this little mountain, this little cliff, I guess you could say, and the water was so deep, and I was afraid. People were on the cliff, everybody was having a good time, and I asked myself, how can they be happy about standing on a cliff, about to jump in the water? And you know what? I was judging them, but I swam over to the cliff and I said, you know what? Let me see what they're feeling. Let me feel. Let me experience what they're feeling. So the number one thing is that I made a decision. I took action. I said, okay, let me go swim to the cliff. That was an action. Okay. After I climbed the cliff, that was after I climbed the cliff. During the climbing, I was climbing the cliff. That was a momentum, right? And then I got to the peak of the cliff, and all of a sudden, I saw the whole view of the lake, of people, the boats, people enjoying themselves, people having a good time. And I realized the best experience wasn't, it wasn't, climbing the, cliff, or, jumping off the cliff, or, swimming to the cliff. It was getting to see everything, getting to see the boats, a new view, a new perspective. That is what I gained. And that is more valuable than precious gold and silver, right? Is a new perspective. And I jumped into the lake. I jumped into the lake and I was afraid, but I, after that, I've had the best time of my life. I met people, I've had fun talking to people, and that day I realized something, that whenever I live, to truly live, you must sacrifice your current self to have a better future. You must sacrifice the mind that you currently have and put on the new one that is about to intrude. Right? And so I tell these people all the time is social media is killing us because we are in our comfort zone. We are on our phones, doom scrolling on our phones, looking at other people's lives, wishing that we had their lives, wishing we had the riches, the gold, the silver, not realizing that if we would just put our phone down, we can have the best time of our lives. And so I think, Carl Jung, once said is, I do study a little bit of philosophy, but I might be wrong. But Carl Jung always talked about the mask that we portrayed ourselves, the person, the persona we're putting on is often the fake version. And I really dive deep in this, moment, because I really want to tell you guys, or tell the person who's watching this, is you need to take off the mask, because there are so many people you will meet in your future, so many people that will impact your life, maybe the girlfriend, the boyfriend, or whatever you want. The thing that you want will begin to come towards you when you take off the fakeness. Because, as I've once said, the blessing can't recognize its owner if it has a fake mask on. And so you can't get what your future self wants or has, because you are being a false version that was never you in the first place. And how do you do that? Well, you begin to say, I'm gonna stop. You begin to stop living for others, and you begin to live for yourself. You begin to stop living for the views, or what people think about you and what social media may portray about you, and you just do what you want to do. You do what interests you. You do what you like, because at the end of the day, this is your life. They're not going to be there at your funeral. They're not going to be there at your birthday. And if so, then you've met someone who just clicked with you. And life, as I said, doesn't start when you're in your bubble. It starts when you finally decide, I'm going to stop living in my shell. I'm going to go talk to that person just because I think they're pretty, or I'm going to go talk to that person because I want to make friends, or I want to talk to that, go out and have fun, have a drink, play pool, go swimming, even though I don't know how to swim, right? And you can do that, and these are the things that make life precious. And people ask themselves, is this really what life has to offer? Life has much more to offer. Are you just willing to get a new perspective on what life truly is? I mean, there are moments where we ask ourselves, man, I wish there was more to life. Go out and put yourself out there. And I'll teach you guys on the next video, if you guys want, how to be extremely charismatic. And if you guys want that video, type part 2, or type, we want the second video of charismatic. And this is my first video, by the way, on this account. Follow Noah Joy on YouTube. Noah Joy, NOAHJOY. And I will see you guys probably this Thursday. I don't know when I'm gonna post this, probably Wednesday. But I'll see you guys whenever I feel good to post, or whenever, I don't know. Make sure you like, subscribe. Don't forget to comment down below if you like this video. I pray that it helped you and you send it to someone who needs to start living a little bit. See you guys.